Hello, welcome to the Brain Scrub, a somewhat improvised approach to mental health. My name's Glenn Sollers. Today I'm free miking it. I don't have my microphone on a stand because I'm just angry and I can't sit still. We are in a mental health crisis, everybody. Mental health crisis. Mental health challenges, in some cases, come from stress, which creates anxiety, which creates fear. And there is a clear root cause of this. And that is Donald J. Trump in the United States has caused so much chaos, so much change, a lack of predictability, not knowing what's happening, saying one thing, doing another thing, focusing on things that really don't matter in the grand scheme of things. And yeah, there are things that he's doing that makes sense. However, I am just amazed at what is unfolding in this world. You'd think that over all the years and all the lessons learned by humanity, and we have scientists out there, we are not generally stupid people. However, I would argue that the United States of America, their name should be changed to the disjointed states of stupidity, ignorance, and ego. It is unbelievable. And you know what? We can change that name. I'll just call Google and say, for Canada, let's change that name to that. Because really, it doesn't matter what you call places. The fact that the U.S. has decided to call the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America, it doesn't matter. It's a body of water. Name it what you will. But to have these little wins out there that he considers a win, which really in the grand scheme of things doesn't change anything, is unbelievable. Just feeding the ego needs of the rich. And you see it in Elon, you see it in Zuckerberg, you see it in Trump, of course, but all these people, everybody, they're focused on themselves. The fact that the United States feels that they need to get rich. Rich with what? Money doesn't buy everything. And we are a population of 8 billion people. And the United States has become a country to be feared, to be avoided, to bend towards, and people are bending. And I just want to cover some of the stuff that's just been making my head shake as this all goes on. And I just need to get it out of my system, because what's happening is there is an individual there that's able to leverage the stupidity of many others and not critically think about the impact of one's actions. Great leadership, Donald Trump. You're able to do this and leverage ignorance and self-interest. And I've never seen anybody do it to his ability to get people to buy in. And sadly, there's not a lot of people standing up to him and saying, this has got to stop. These 3 weeks, if this is any sign of what we're going to do or what's going to happen, we need to stop it now, somehow. But you know what? The American people voted him in. And not saying that they had some great choices out there. However, if you look at what happened historically, you should have been able to see the writing on the wall. And us Canadians, the Europeans, people in South Africa, in Africa in general, in Mexico, in so many other places, are being impacted by this person's executive orders, like he runs the world. And if you don't praise the United States as the best place in the world, then you suck. It is crazy. And just a few things that I want to talk about here, like the fentanyl thing, where he was threatening Mexico and Canada with tariffs because of the fentanyl that comes from China and is imported into or smuggled into the United States. where deaths are happening. Now, I'm no fentanyl expert, but if you have some critical thinking skills, if you're able to do a 5 whys analysis and understand why is there a demand for drugs, for fentanyl? Why is this happening? Who are the consumers? Why are they taking this? And yes, there's and people might be upset with what I'm saying. There are situations where people probably get fentanyl and they have no idea, which is so sad that other people do that kind of stuff. That's a crime. That's the stuff that should be criminalized. But yet, the US blames other countries for their own problems. Gun violence. They export guns. People in the United States kill each other. Nothing's done about that. Guns are fine, fentanyl bad. It is mind-blowing. The fact that Elon Musk can basically tell Trump what to do to feed his own self-interest in making billions and billions of dollars shows how weak Donald Trump is. That party is proving that they're bullies. And we've done so much in the world to address bully-like behavior, and nothing's being done about this. He's steamrolling over everything, and we are paying the price in our mental health, in our feeling of security, prosperity. And you know what? Prosperity is not about money necessarily. It's about everything. But to think about oneself and our own self-interest with not considering how we are all connected in this world. The actions taken by one country have a ripple effect on other countries. The carbon that we produce in North America impacts other countries. The choices we make around the conflicts we get into has an impact on other countries. Who we choose to do business with, people we tax, has an impact. And the United States, this is why they should be called the disjointed states of the stupid, is this lack of critical thinking skills that there's so many companies that are US based that are embedded in other countries. McDonald's, Starbucks, you name it. There's so many people that buy these products. And to think about yourself and the market potential that you're losing by these actions, it is so short-sighted. And one needs to be a system thinker. And I don't know how to train people on how to be a systems thinker across the world, but to think about interdependencies, think about leverage points. And Donald Trump is good at thinking about leverage points around tariffs, but unfortunately it's done for self-interest. To think about the cause and effect, big picture, long-term consequences, all these different things are required, and not to just believe one person and his rhetoric and his little quick decisions, like we're going to get rid of plastic straws and you know what, sharks can handle it. Like these stupid comments that he says are powerful because he's able to influence people quickly based on meaningless things and short-term wins that really do nothing for our global peace, contentment, and joy. His decisions are destroying countries, are putting people into more poverty, are creating violence. The fact that Israel has withdrawn from the Human Rights Coalition blows me away, based on a population that has been persecuted, that has been killed off during World War II, who's been fighting for human rights and different things. And now to say, screw it, we're going to remove ourselves, is crazy making and is not being accountable to the rest of this world and to neighbors that rely on a country, a destroyed country, and saying, you know what, you get out of that country. It's no longer yours. We're going to change it into Riviera. Like these types of things are creating anger. And I know Donald Trump has a hidden agenda here. And these are ways to get people to pay attention. But to think about the impact on people's stress levels, their livelihoods, their peace of mind, much more can be done through a collaborative conversation with people versus just making decisions. And I wish Donald Trump would listen to Mr. Rogers and what he did in his children's program, which is a US-based program, the importance of community, your neighbors, treating people with respect and dignity, not belittling them. And as a result, people are looking at the United States, I think in a great part, like very tiny people who have no brain and who won't stand up to a bully. And yet the United States has a history of standing up to bullies in this world. And in a lot of cases, it's helped out. But now the bully is in the United States. We, in my opinion, are not standing up to him. They are creating a world of fear, chaos, self-interest, anger, resentment. I don't know what's going to happen. Now, there is a message being sent through all this that we cannot rely on your neighbor, your community, that you need to do things on your own. In Canada, we need to wake up and break down those borders between us, find partners that are willing to be partners for the long term because they're intelligent, they get it, they're research-based, they're critical thinkers, and there's many countries like that out there. But clearly our neighbors to the south are not doing that. And shout out to Claudia Sheinbaum from Mexico. She is such a powerful woman, and I love what she's doing. And she's standing up and she's role modeling what you do with a bully. Because you can't win against a bully. You have to stand up to a bully. In Canada, we can use our steel. We can use our resources. We can build manufacturing facilities, which does take money. But to think about the future and to think about, well, what else can we do? So we're not just a resource-based economy primarily. That we have the talent, we have the expertise, we have the relationships. People like to deal with people who are nice. People who use coercion don't get very far on a global scale. It might work initially, but it doesn't do anything to build trust, relationship, and respect. Folks, treat each other well. We're in this together. Have a critical mind. Think about the pros and cons of things, the root causes of things. Understand, if I take this action, what is the ripple effect going to be on others, on the environment, on my community, on the world? Short-term, self-interest-based decisions when it comes to a global world we live in don't always work. And we are seeing that unfold in front of our eyes. Focus on what you can control. There's a lot to be concerned about right now. Focus on what you can control. Now, I've struggled doing that over the last 3 weeks. I've been sucked into social media, and I have taken myself off Facebook. I'm gone from Facebook. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on Snapchat. I'm not going to support these companies that are trying to create community out there in the world, yet their only self-interest is prevalent in how they run their organizations. Yet they're trying to build community and connection. Well, through what? Lies? Through money? I will not support that. Now, I watched the Super Bowl, which I really don't do. And I think Kendrick Lamar did a great job in the halftime show. He really brought home the fact that the United States is very ununited and that there is a lot of self-interest going on. And to be able to speak the truth and be authentic is so important. The Trump administration has made it clear that that's what they want people to do, yet I don't see a lot of it happening. Somehow we have to stand up and stop this before it may destroy us. Thanks for listening.